In today's episode, we are going to be talking about the military operation that is it Donald J. Trump,
Yes.
right? It's Donald
Yes.
J. Trump, right? Yeah, I'm kind of braining out. It's
Mm.
Sunday. We are out
Yes.
here,
It's Monday.
burning ourselves out, trying to figure out whether the market's going to go green or is it going to go red after the military operation that took Maduro away from the safety of his household to the American holiday. He's going to enjoy a trip to Disneyland. Ladies and gentlemen, in this episode of Market Boss, we're going to be talking about the Venezuelan crisis and how major turmoil turned into massive plundering of the country. I have a couple of things to say. I had to run away from the country because of the Maduro. Well, not the Maduro regime, I guess Chavez regime, but a lot of people love Chavez, so I don't want to. I don't want to. The guy's dead, so it's Maduro regime in this case. But the Venezuelan story, a Venezuelan. We also have Dimitris, Mimi, and myself. We're going to be talking about sort of what we're expecting for Monday, how we're playing this out, what are the plans in the in our portfolios. Welcome to another episode of Market Boss. Toby, welcome. Yeah,
Yes.
so crazy. It's been crazy. It's been nuts, right? We did not expect this in the new year. I think some of the news that Trump said sort of targeted this for New Year's. And I think if they had done this in New Year's, this would have been a lot worse for the Americans because we like fireworks. So we would just throw fireworks at whatever we saw in the air if we had seen it. Just a little, just it is. I think it's very true, but that's probably the best armories that we have in the Venezuelan army here in this case. But yeah, it was surprising. I mean, we heard the news. I was sleeping, and everybody was already messaging me. I think you guys knew before me, before when I realized. And yeah, Maduro's in America, and right now Venezuela sort of leaderless, but there is the VP right now sort of in power. We also have the opposition leaders outside of the country claiming, hey, maybe this is our chance.
Mm.
My father says it's time to either mobilize or continue to just be in the same regime. All Venezuelans seem to be happy, at least the ones that are outside the country that had to leave because of this regime and because of the lack of opportunities and lack of access to any sort of wealth whatsoever, because it was just being taken away by the regime. So yeah, it's. I mean, it's been super interesting, and it's been the most interested I've been in Venezuelan politics in a really long time. Started with Maria Corina Machado. She started moving the masses, and then now there seems to be a couple of things happening in the country. But yeah, I want to get your thoughts because I know you guys have done your research on this. You guys have done your analysis on this. Who wants to take this first?
You go ahead, Mimi.
Well, okay, I'm gonna sound like an idiot. I'm joking. Um, I did. Look, I'm no expert in geopolitics, but I speak to you guys a lot about it. So I'm as across it as best I can, and I try to see the correlation or the impact it has on crypto, on markets. And so when this happened yesterday, I stayed up to watch the press conference and had a really brief chat with Dimitri. Then I went to that. Then I tried to go to bed, and then I couldn't. I was thinking about like, why is this happening? Could it simply be oil? Because the view, the general view is it's oil, and it makes sense. And then I woke up and I'm like, no, I forgot to write about this because I really feel like it's either I'm onto something or I'm overcomplicating it. And my view of it is that there are layers to it. And I wrote about this on eToro. There are layers. There's the anti-narcotics layer, the fight against drugs and stabilization. And then there's the layer which is oil. Then the next layer is also regional control of the Western Hemisphere. And then the big one, in my opinion, and it's more of a bit long term, is the AI tech compute play. Because I think that one of the most wanted resources in this time and in the next many years is that it's not just gold and oil, it's compute. And so thinking about that, then I think about okay, what is the strategy here? What is always Trump's strategy in a way? China. Think about China. China has Taiwan. Taiwan has the, one of the largest semiconductors companies in the world. And so if China, to put my analysis really briefly, if China has the ability to, withhold like rare earth minerals, then if they reunify Taiwan, they then could potentially then be the leaders of the AI era that's coming. And I just, from my lens, from a tech lens, from what I see in the future and will happen and it will dominate the entire world, I think that is a strong play. And that's just, Venezuela is just a part of the strategy. Possibly a bigger part, I don't know. But that was my take on how I see it. I posted it. A lot of people scratched their heads, but just my tech view on what's happening.
The thing is I don't think you're wrong at all. I think there's a lot to do with that, right? Venezuela is very close as a neighbor of the Americans, right? We're very, very close, and we do have like rare earth materials within Venezuelan borders. It's underdeveloped, right? We don't have the manufacturing that we would need to have in order to kind of be able to ship all of that stuff, but we do have the earth, like we're very close to the Amazon. What's under those trees? Like gold, I know like the gold reserves are pretty big, and the silver and all of that. We know for a fact that it's there, and we also hold the biggest oil reserves in like the world, right? Also, oil and energy, like energy dependency in America. We know that for a fact is extremely important. And the fact is that Venezuela, like the lower part of America, has like pretty much set up like their distillates, like it's like distillery of distilling of oil. I keep freaking messing up the names. I had it earlier today, but it's mostly they're mostly set up for heavy crude, right? So it's like Venezuelan oil was a key part of that, and then we saw sort of like the reduction on the supply side of Venezuelan production, and then but those distilleries are like I keep calling the distilleries. What are they called? It's not distilleries. It's
I don't know.
It's like oil production.
It doesn't come to mind right now.
It doesn't come to my head right now, but yeah, it happened to me this morning too. But it's okay. So they're made for heavy crude, right? In order to get gasoline, in order to get diesel, in order to get all these different byproducts of oil, it's mostly heavy. And the Americans produce light crude, and the Saudis produce light crude, right? So this is very important, right? In terms of making that supply chain work really well, it's going to take a little bit of time, right? And then obviously, like we want to secure that. We want to secure those energy rights, and Trump is right in some sense. Where Chavez came into power, he started expropriating everything, and he took everything away from the transnationals. Shell was one of them. Exxon was one of them. Big names. This was infrastructure that was built by the Americans, right? I believe the Americans started the oil industry in Venezuela. He wants to get paid back, and he wants to start getting that production back on track, right? He wants to separate away from the rest of the world, and he wants sort of like that energy dependency, which we're talking about, which is interesting because everything leads back to American defense, right? They sort of like that defense sector and how this happens. Refineries. Thank you, Maddie.
Refineries.
Thank you. Man, I keep calling distilleries. I like my whiskey way too much. That's the problem. But thank you. Oh, man. So yeah, I mean, we're likely to see sort of like the thing is just like this creates a lot, like this, in my opinion, creates a political vacuum. That's sort of what will happen here. Would we see an easy transition for the Americans to take over and control? If we see it like in Japan, and I think it was Japan and Germany, where the Americans came in and they started setting up like structure, like government structures in order to like get this, like get the foundation right in order to get them.
Nation building. That was nation building.
Nation building. Yeah.
Yeah. If they fought wars, that's a different. But that's the idea. That's the idea again. Yeah.
Right. Or we get the other side, which is like you can get like the other side, which is political vacuum, not really control, right? And then just like massive, like the small players trying to take control over the sector, right? So it's like over the country, and then you have, I think, three major powers right now that are potentially within the same Maduro party, right? You have Diosdado, you have El Padrino, which is like the head of the military, and then you have, what was her name, the VP, the girl VP of Venezuela. But yeah, I want to get your thoughts, Dimitris, on this.
First, let me start with the thing that you gave me when we met to Cyprus. You gave me a souvenir. Everyone see this?
I have
This,
one too.
this is, you have one too, right?
This is right here.
There you go. Oh, you have a 20. I have a
Yeah.
50,000. What's the currency next, Nestor, of this? What is called?
The Venezuelan Bolivar.
Yes.
But there's so many different ones. So this is like different monetary like el cono monetario. You know, it's like different monetary systems. Yeah.
When you gave me this, I asked you how much is it worth, and you told me it's worthless. So this is what this administration, this regime, I should say, and the previous ones made the currency of the country worth. So let's start with that. Let's keep that in mind.
Why is mine 20, by the way?
Because that's what I had.
1,000. Is he like a better friend or something?
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? I think your 20 is worth more than the 50.
Yes.
Because that's down the line.
Yes.
So this was like later. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, keep
So,
going.
like, they're all worthless. Yeah, but it's like, in terms of value, when they had value back in the day, I believe. I could be wrong. So don't quote me. But yeah.
Okay. Let me tell you what I see. What I see when me understanding the American politics. We are in a point in history that there's a transition in American politics, and I can make the comparison between the Jimmy Carter administration, following by the Ronald Reagan. Jimmy Carter was a bit passive, the whole Iran takeover of the embassy happened during Jimmy Carter, and then Reagan came into power taking no bullshit. It looks similar to that. Trump not taking any nonsense. Were you really surprised from the news? I wasn't expecting it, but I wasn't surprised either from the actions of yesterday. So that's what Trump does. His unpredictability of things adds to the story. But the big picture is something I mentioned on the post, and something I was telling Mimi last night when we were chatting, watching the press conference. Trump mentioned something that no other president have mentioned, at least I believe in my lifetime, which is the Monroe Doctrine, which states that was made by James Monroe in 1823, at the time that the U.S. wasn't even a superpower, wasn't even in power. And they states that no foreign power, especially Europeans, are allowed to be in the Western Hemisphere. That's a lot, right? And Trump mentioned it last night, which is a statement that nobody's welcome in the Western Hemisphere. We own it, and that's what it is. Interestingly, another coincidence is that a Chinese delegation was there, arrived.
Yeah. Literally, they arrived the day before to speak to Maduro about oil rights.
Yes. So that's another reason, another coincidence. Also, they said that they delayed the operation for 4 days because of the weather. I call bullshit on that, because you don't want to be doing this when the markets are open, right? You want to be on the weekend, nobody's paying attention, nobody's going to see the news because they're partying or whatever. So if you pay attention, like the last couple of things that happened, I think the Iran thing was during the weekend. Some signing of crypto was doing on the weekend early last year, right? It's always on the weekend and on purpose. So let's not fool ourselves. But, and the story is that is for the reason is for drug trafficking, and there's some truth to that. But that was the excuse, but not the reason. The reason is oil,
100%.
right? And Venezuela is the world's largest oil reserves. I think it's more than Canada, it's more than Saudi Arabia, much more than the United States. Can they produce a lot of oil? You say, no, not a lot, but they have oil reserves, and the U.S. that does not want the Chinese in the Western Hemisphere making deals with the Venezuelans. In fact, they don't want the Chinese in any country in the Western Hemisphere, and that's the reality. This is what great powers do. Is it right? Is it wrong? I'm not going to get into that because it's irrelevant. We're just focusing on what happened. Okay. Another element of that is lately, Saudi Arabia has been trading with China in yuan, and the Russians and the Chinese are trading with rubles and yuans and all that. And the dollar, the petrodollar, is been taking a back seat. Now, you don't want the country with the world's largest reserve to be making deals with the Chinese and to be trading in yuans. You want them to be trading in dollars. And once the U.S. companies enter Venezuela again and build the infrastructure, believe me, they're going to be trading in dollars. So this was about oil. This was a chess move by Trump. He found the courage. Some people call it leadership. Some people call it balls. I don't know what do you want to call it, but that was a ballsy move because things could go wrong and you can look like a fool. So it's like it was a risky move, but that puts the U.S. one move ahead against the rest of the world because and then if you want to put the AI within this because it's relevant, the AI revolution is upon us, and the AI is running on energy. And at this time, right now, and perhaps some say in our lifetime, the AI revolution is going to be powered by oil and natural gas until we have the infrastructure to do it with renewables. I'm all up for that. I'm not against renewables. I'm just saying at this time, we are not there yet. And until we figure out a way to get enough energy with renewables, this is what we have. And this is what we're going to use, and probably going to run out of it before we find a solution. And you want the countries with the largest reserves to be on your side. In either side you are, China or the US, you want the players that have the goods to be on your side. And that's exactly what the US did yesterday. I'm not going to say it was right or it was wrong, but that's where we are. Later, we're going to get into the conspiracies of all this. What people think.
Yeah.
Oh, the thing is, it's like this leads me. Well, first started with Russia, right? And it's like the question is like, did Russia and Ukraine open the door for the Americans to do this? Right now, Russia attacks Ukraine. The world does pretty much nothing,
in the grand scale of things. And then now Trump does this, and the world has a chance to react, and then we're gonna go to the NATO, and then we're gonna we're gonna argue, and nothing's gonna happen. And then what happens with China is something I want to discuss. This is where the rumor mill begins, right? But that's where I'm at. I'm like, the thing is I agree fully with you on the fact that it's like, this is not because Trump is a really nice guy that wants to liberate Venezuelans because the Venezuelans deserve it. For all I want Venezuela to be free, we're not. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just one tyrant for the other. Now, are the Americans a bit better than the Venezuelans? Yeah, they Venezuelans sometimes treat Venezuelans worse than how a foreigner would treat you. 100%. Do I trust the Americans a bit better here? Yeah, I mean, they have at least the history to back it up, right? The oil industries are actually productive. We could actually see an increase in production. We could see a reduction in the sanctions. If they manage to actually take control of the country, we could see major, like, the sanctions being withdrawn fully, and development to start happening in the country that could bring wealth, that could bring a ton of things, right? So that's the big if here. It's like if it happens and how it happens, right?
If I can say one more thing, before this, the world was like separated in two camps: the democratic camps and the dictators camps. The dictator camp was the Chinese, the Korean guy, Putin, which is not a dictator technically,
And
but
the Cubans. Yeah, and the
and
Cubans.
the Venezuela guy. So now the dictatorship camp is -1 because that's the friends you have around you. That's right. And the Democratic side perhaps going to get one more player. So the Americans played it quite well, right or wrong. I'm not saying I'm agreeing with it because it was like it's fucking
It's
crazy.
impressive.
It's impressive and crazy at the same time.
Yeah.
But if we try to be impartial and see this as what it is, they pulled off a good move right here.
I mean, like even if you look at Polymarket, right? We were like Polymarket was sitting at 5% chances of American intervention in 2026. Like in January 2026 was sitting at 5%. I think by the end of 2026 it was like at 40 or 50%. So it's like the market was not expecting this.
Yeah.
I was not expecting this. Like no Venezuelan was expecting this. And the way that it happened swiftly without any
Casualties,
any
fighting,
casualties. Yeah.
escalation for now, knock wood, at the time.
So then
Yeah.
the big question.
Good.
Oops, sorry, Mimi. Sorry.
Okay. No, you
So
go.
yeah. So the thing is like, there are rumors. Did they just give him the big head in order for them to be left alone? I mean, that also gives Trump, all right, we did it. No Americans died. We captured the big name. We take him away, and now you better open up your oil fields, otherwise we come in again, right? Or potentially we actually start shooting, So there are so many ifs, and how the Americans portrayed. Obviously, Trump is going to portray it as the best military operation the world has ever seen in the history of humanity, right? That's the way that he plays everything. The reality might be very, very different, right? And the fact that he's not leading with the opposition leaders, that comment alone broke many Venezuelans. I could see it in our faces. It's like he was talking and everybody was like, hope, 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 hope. Oh, we're not even considering the opposition right now. We're talking to the people that are in power. Oh, that took a lot of legitimacy away from both the president-elect and vice president, Corina Machado, and Edmundo Gonzalez, the president, right? Because they're meant to be. But he's not looking to make deals with potential what ifs. He's looking to make deals with the people that currently hold power and hold the supply chains and infrastructure within the country. So that tells you something. And that was the one moment that broke a lot of Venezuelans, because it was just like, oh, so he's not here to come and save us. He's here to come and take over. That was the moment that it was like, we might just continue to be the same under a different regime, who may, and maybe they have to become a lot more, grab the reins a lot stronger in order to maintain that control. So we just don't know. This power vacuum, it scares me, right? It scares. Like, I don't see Venezuelans lining up to pick up to get into a plane and go back, just because Maduro, one of the faces, is out of there.
Yeah, but it's not the power vacuum of Afghanistan. We said that before the live started, and comparisons to Afghanistan, that people living in caves and not because Venezuela not too long ago was the envy of Latin America, right?
Yeah. Venezuela Saudita, it's like what you used to call it. They used to compare ourselves to the Saudis, right? Because it was like we were the Saudi, like the Saudi empire of Latin America.
Argentina was the Europeans of the Latin America, and Venezuela was the Saudis, and the rest of them, they were just envious of Venezuela. Yeah, that was like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. How long has it been?
Yeah, it's been a bit since like 1990 when did Chavez come into power? Let's have a look.
Yeah, but people remember those times. So
yeah, 1998. Since 1998, so 20 years and 26 in 28 years. What the country can do.
It's been a while.
Yeah. No, so it'll be interesting to see how this spans out. Obviously, like, you're creating this. What was her name? Delcy. Yeah. Delcy Rodriguez is now the female president of Venezuela. She was the VP. And she looks like when you look at a picture of her, she looks all nice and stuff, but she's probably one of the most ruthless women in the world.
Let me see the picture. Let me see the picture.
Have a look.
Is she blonde?
No.
No.
She looks like, you look at her and you're like, oh my God, like great. But
I'm thinking about the Italian lady. She's blonde and she's.
I think right now she's in charge of the Venezuelan oil, pretty much. It's like, if you look at her, it's like, let's have a look.
Oh.
You look at her.
There you go. She reminds me of, what's her name?
Lovely.
She looks. I mean, she looks like, she couldn't hurt a soul.
Yeah.
She's there for peace and love.
Yeah.
That woman will sell you for a barrel of oil. Like, easy. I don't trust her. I don't trust any of them. I don't.
How about the other guy? What's his name? The guy who was elected and recognized by most countries, but it was the opposition leader.
So the story goes, you have Edmundo Gonzalez.
No, not that guy. The younger guy. The young guy. Who is the young guy?
You have a couple, but this is the current president-elect of Venezuela.
Okay.
Right? And then you have the true leader of Venezuelans right now, Maria Corina Machado. She's like a badass. Right? But she's dangerous for what Maduro wants to do, which is like, Maduro wants Venezuela, open your doors and you're open for business. She will not allow that. So she's dangerous for the Maduro power control. Right? Because she's revered. You kill her, you create a martyr right now.
Yeah, nobody's getting killed. Nobody.
I don't like. Not even the regime.
Yeah.
Not even the regime killed her. Like, that tells you. It's like they're not gonna get killed, but he's just not, like, he needs to control the narrative right now. Right? Like, he's pretty much done a successful coup in in Venezuela. Successful coup. He went in, he took the other guy out, and now he put in the person he wants in power. In theory.
I see you are conflicted about this.
I am so conflicted. I have no idea. Like, I know I don't trust them, but I also don't trust Trump. Because it's like, you're not coming in because, like, how much was the special operation was costing Trump? 6 to 8 million a day. And that's like probably like in the lower end. After all of the things that they had to do in order to get this done, how much American power was behind this? They offer $50 million for Maduro's head.
Yeah, and they said on the press conference yesterday.
Yeah. Make sure nobody claims it. But it tells you, it's like,
Okay, so what's the you want to talk about Taiwan?
I mean, like, that was the connection that I made in terms of I'm not saying that is the strategy. Of course not. There's so many layers to it. Oil is a big one, but sometimes I feel like, okay, maybe I'm overcomplicating it. I do tend to do that, guys. I go down a bit of a rabbit hole, but I just think that is it really that simple that it's just about oil? That's it. Like, that's it.
The thing is like, it's not only about oil, it's about controlling the region. It's about natural resources. It's about oil. Like, oil is one part, but I mean, look at the barrel of oil. It's sitting at 55. If we really wanted to buy oil, we'll just buy from the Russians. It's like, if we really wanted to, right? So it's like, so it's not just that. It's securing those reserves. It's securing the natural resources that Venezuela potentially has. It's getting amazing deals for America, while they have power and they're able to sign whatever for the next X amount of years. And he made it very clear. He was like, yo, the Venezuelans came in, stole a bunch of American infrastructure, and we just let them. So we just let them, and we're talking about like, both Republican and Democratic presidents before Trump. So Trump is saying it's like I'm Trump. It's like this is not going to happen to me. So this it opens up Pandora's box that is like,
Well, at the end of the day, it's essentially power and control in whatever form, and it always leads back to China as well. So that was the one of the significant parts that I was more focused on. But maybe that's whether that is too much of a long-term kind of play or not. But it's something to take into consideration, and how this would, how Taiwan would then fit into this. Taiwan Semiconductor Company produces the most advanced chips in the world. It's not just about AI, it's about military. It's about so many other areas that will completely rule the entire world. And so if China has control over that, that was my take on it. Aside from the other layers to it.
So you think this move by Trump opens the door for the Chinese to do something similar to Taiwan?
Potentially. I also read that there was, I don't know how this fits in exactly, but didn't the US do an $11 billion arms deal recently with Taiwan as well?
Yeah.
Then it kind of ruffled. China just reacted to it and sent a few, I don't know exactly what they did, but a few signals. How does that play into it as well? Like, why would the US do that? There's always a reason, and always still leads back to China.
The thing is just the Americans need to like at least allow Taiwan to be somewhat sovereign, right? Mm. Even though there's some ties there, Taiwan decides what Taiwan wants to do, right? The fact that Americans can dictate where Taiwan product goes and gets sold, and it cannot be sold in China, it has to be sold in America or the partners. Because NVIDIA is an American company, even though most of the manufacturing was in Taiwan with Taiwan Semiconductors and all that.
Yeah.
So that's where.
So that's something to think about, and like I was also thinking from, obviously we're thinking from like an investor's lens. We're not entirely here to talk about like politics or anything. It's more like, how does that? I think everybody wants to know we don't know, obviously, but what is our best guess? What do we think will happen in markets? Everyone's scrambling to like, I'm going to buy Chevron, I'm going to buy ExxonMobil, like everybody's just, it's just, how do you as an investor position for this? It's probably everybody's question, which we can't really answer. And that's why we're here to kind of see it from our own.
At the end of the day, that's our point. Like, whether it's good or bad for Venezuelans, for the world, for American politics, it's a very difficult answer. The question is what we're going to do with our portfolios. I completely agree with Mimi in this case. For me, I don't know. Dimitri, do you want to talk? You want to say?
Let me answer the question that Graham said. Is it possible that Trump is going to bring the price of oil down to affect Russia? I don't think this is specifically just to affect Russia. Let's not get ridiculous here, but because this is the narrative out. But he's probably did that so he can keep the price of oil down. And he can say, you know what? He's going to say that he's responsible for the inflation going down because he got the price of oil down, right? And energy has a lot to do with inflation. And the price of oil being down in the last year has a lot to do with inflation going down in the last year. Russia's going to get affected just because Russia, the only thing that they do is they produce oil and natural gas. They don't have any other industries in their economy. So unfortunately for them and for other OPEC countries that they measure money producers of oil, they're going to get affected. If the assumption is correct and the increased supply the increased production is going to increase the supply, and the price is going to go down. But what was your question about Taiwan? I forgot. What was the question you asked me? You want to hear my thoughts before I jumped into the question?
No, I think Nesta had a different question.
So my question is like, how are you trading this? Like, how are you
Yeah,
investing,
what do you-
moving your money about this? And like, if you want to talk about Taiwan, also give me your
Yeah.
thoughts, you know. But-
Okay, so last night we were watching the press conference, and we were chatting with Mimi. We were texting back and forth, and we were just like, "Oh wow, did he say that? Oh, did he say that?" Yeah, he did say that, like most of the things. And then I was like, you know what? I said to her, Exxon looks interesting here. And then
Yeah.
2 seconds later, he mentioned Exxon
Yeah.
on his speech. Okay, so the oil companies have been expensive and trading higher than most people would expect with this price of oil remaining so low. That suggests that if the price of oil goes up in the next year or 24 months, that they will appreciate even more. Now, you don't want to buy any oil stock. My personal choice is ExxonMobil, and it's a bit expensive at this point. But if they find their way back into Venezuela, then make them like a solid long-term play. And some oil stocks are useful, like to have them in your portfolio, maybe like a 5% allocation. As far what I do with my portfolio, pretty much nothing. And all this discussion that we're having is not going to contribute to the portfolio, but it's not going to make me open up my portfolio on a Monday morning and wondering what the fuck happened. Because I know what happened. Because I watched the press conference, I talked with you guys, and we unpacked this. So you can go to sleep tonight feeling okay, not reading conspiracy theories online on Twitter and thinking that the world is going to shit, because it's not. This is right.
And even if we get any volatility on Monday, which I don't think we will, because if Venezuela was a European country, if Venezuela was one of the big seven, if Venezuela was a big industry country, I would say sure, this affects. Maybe we could see some volatility on AI stocks and chip stocks, because maybe the risk on Taiwan increases because of this. But I think it's by the dip, right? Like this is like if Russia Ukraine caused mayhem, and we just saw by the dip within the month.
Yeah.
We shouldn't see any major effects. Like Venezuela produces nothing other than very little oil.
That's a
I would
good
buy more Walmart. If there is, I'm waiting for a dip in TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor. I will buy. I will.
Yeah.
Just based on my own research and thesis. But and then gold. No, I'm joking. No.
Well,
I don't know why I'm joking about that, but if you want to, you can. It's defensive. But for me, nothing's really changed for me. Everything that I've said about crypto still stays. And the thing about crypto at the moment, crypto didn't do anything on the weekend when the events unfolded. And everybody needs to calm down about that. Like, stay grounded. Don't think that weekend moves in general are a little bit suspicious for me, because the liquidity is thin. Bitcoin didn't do anything when the news came out, so everybody thinks, oh my god, bullish. But I think just wait. Crypto is waiting for markets to open. Look at what oil will do, the dollar, stocks, gold. See how they will react on Monday, and then we'll know a direction. But nothing's changed for me in terms of crypto. I would just not be too excited right now, just because it hasn't crashed. I'm still going to possibly de-risk. I'm still expecting a relief rally anyway, and it's kind of like playing out at the moment. So yeah, that's for me. But if TSMC there's a huge dip that I'd be buying, for me personally, not financial advice.
Yeah, this is true. So TSM is a they already, I think they're already in production.
In Arizona.
Yeah.
They open in Arizona, yeah.
I don't know if they're in production, but I
But
know
this
that they have their factory.
that's a small part of their capacity. It's
Yeah.
like it's gonna take years before they get a meaningful amount of semiconductor production in the United States. But and I want to hear your thoughts about this. About I'm sure you heard about this. The conspiracy theory says that
Get my
it has
tinfoil
been
hat.
it
Get
has
my
been
tinfoil
agreed
hat in a
that
second.
the US gets Venezuela, the Chinese get Taiwan, and the Russians get Ukraine.
Okay.
It's ridiculous. Like,
I didn't hear about that, but
you didn't hear about that?
no.
I heard about it, like I read about it, and I talked to a couple of people, and they told me that, and it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. Only because so Taiwan and Venezuela is not remotely the same thing. Taiwan is a democratic country and a U.S. ally and very wealthy, and they want to stay by themselves because they have a good time by themselves. And they don't want to be governed by China. Is that right or wrong? It's their decision. I'm not saying I'm with them or against them, but that's where we stand. And they produce something very valuable. It's not a natural resource, but
Yeah.
they produce something very valuable, and they have the technical knowledge to do that. And surrender it to the Chinese is a no-no for the Americans because they need it, and not just the Americans,
Mm.
Europe as well. So if China tries to take over to Taiwan, nobody's gonna like it, okay? And especially because it's a democratic country and they're going to be attacked by communists.
But are
This
we willing? Are we willing to go to
otherwise,
nuclear war for Taiwan? Is the big question here. Like, are we willing to end the world because of Taiwan?
I don't think we're going to get there. I don't think anyone is so quick to start throwing nuclear weapons out there because once you open that, then it's a wrap. And I don't think we're going to get there. But this the Chinese probably woke up today and say, okay, so what happens now? We had an ally in Latin America getting oil, paying in yuan, and now we're going to have to find someone else. We have to pay in dollars. And what we do with China, with Taiwan, if we attempt something similar to this, even though the Chinese can't pull this off, they don't have the military for that. They have a military, but it's not up to that yet to pull a move like this. So yeah, in my view, it changes nothing on between Taiwan and China. As far as Russia and Ukraine, if the price of oil goes further down, that puts pressure on Russia because Russia is a gas station, basically, and they don't produce anything else, and they have sanctions on it. And I'm sure Trump doesn't want to surrender any of that. And it's an ego thing. He doesn't want to take the loss. I mean, we know him by now. He's an egomaniac, and he doesn't want to take the loss. So yeah, this changes nothing as far Ukraine and Russia and Taiwan and China.
Mm.
Your thoughts?
Like, I think it increases the risk, yet I don't think it changes it substantially yet. You know, so it's like that's where I'm at. I'm like, the thing is just like it does increase the risk because let's say nobody does anything. NATO cannot come in, like, sorry, not NATO, the United Nations cannot do anything. Okay, the NATO allies are like, yeah, okay, America, good. Right? Maybe you get a few condemnations here and there, and everybody signs a petition that we want America not to rule Venezuela, and that's it. And then all of a sudden, China's like, okay, let's see what happens here. You know what? It's in America's court. And then they go in, right? So it's like it increases the risk potentially. So I like, could we see some weakness in the tech sector, maybe in the overall market, just because of the fear that this could escalate really quickly? Yeah, but I just don't see it lasting very long. I just, again, because this was like one person getting taken away, the system's still intact, in theory. In theory,
We
Yeah.
should we should take some risk off from semis.
no, no,
I've
no.
I've
Um,
considered it.
like
Look,
it's something we've been talking about, but
I
I
mean,
I'm
haven't
so bullish. I'm so
I haven't
bullish.
I haven't even considered it until we just brought this up.
yeah. I mean, like, I know we're going to keep talking about it, and for me, my thoughts keep unfolding as time goes on, and we need to seriously consider a lot of scenarios, and there's a part of me, obviously, I hope this all peacefully is resolved and everybody, lives happily ever after. But it's so early in the year, and there's a part of me that feels like, okay, should there not be a huge escalation, there's still, and thinking from an investor's perspective, there's still going to be moments of huge volatility when you just hear just news of China, saying something at all. Like they're extremely unhappy and they're going to do this. And where there's rumors, and there's probably going to be a lot of FUD. It's going to be a lot of rumors. So for me, I think in my head, I think it would be smart to take some risk off the table. I mean, I'm still working on, accumulating 25% cash, have 25% at least cash reserves for anything that happens for buying. But I just don't think it's that simple. Again, it's not just going to be that easy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We've been talking about potentially the start of the year being a little bit volatile,
We
and
did.
potentially seeing some profit taking, and we did see some like red in the markets at the start of the year. We did bounce off, like we bounced back in tech, which was hilarious to see because I was like, I think it was like the semis into the close that actually found some footing. Have a look. Have a look here.
Yeah.
Yeah, AMD was up 4%, Nvidia
Yeah,
1.8.
I,
no, yeah,
I
yeah, let me
feel
see.
I feel a little bit like I don't I, you know I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but I just feel a little bit weird about the crypto market at the moment. I don't want to feel weird about it, but could it be
This was the
PTS?
market close. So this was the close on Friday. And we see it's like mostly like, yeah, there was like a little bit of weakness on
And Walmart. Yeah, Walmart.
Walmart. It didn't affect Walmart, but like the market was like ended the week bullish, which was I was quite surprised. Like most of my holdings were up. Funny enough, something new, maybe somebody knew something about oil here, eh? Let's have a look. Let's see if the CEOs bought anything. Hang a second. Okay, no, the VPs are selling. Okay, all right, that sells the narrative. Sells the narrative. It'll be interesting to see how the management of the big companies start acting here. But yeah, like the thing is like I just don't think that this is something to get panicked about. I mean, yeah, it's a global event. I just don't me. I don't see it escalating more than it has right now. But take everything I say with a kilo of salt, because it's like like I was like, oh, Russia won't go into Ukraine, and like a week later, it's like so.
Mhm.
The thing is like it's very difficult to know, right? Obviously, any weakness I think is a bad opportunity, and I think we all agree on that. But it's also we are also in a different phase of the market where we're hoping to take some profits away. So,
Yeah.
question is, does this provide opportunities for the market to get in and sort of give buying opportunities, whether it's in the energy sector, in the semis, maybe in the industrials?
Dimitri, weren't you thinking of cutting some of your tech anyway?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I want to take some profits from semiconductors.
So based on this now, even more so, or just like business as usual?
No, no. This changes nothing for my planning. But I don't want to be so heavy into tech going into the fourth year. And the other things to buy that can have similar upside with less risk and less volatility. I did well last year with semiconductors. I'm sitting on a lot of gains, and I would
Yeah.
like to take some and rotate them elsewhere. Or if that doesn't happen, then all my deposits that I'm gonna do in the next year, I'm gonna be buying things other than tech. So in some point, tech is gonna be low in my portfolio. So the bottom line is I'm not buying tech except Amazon. If I do, I'm not saying I will. That's the only play that it had a good rebound. We called it last year, but did not have a good year last year, and it's set up for a good 2026. Even though I have a lot of it, perhaps another just a little bit, it wouldn't hurt. But I don't want to be holding too much tech going into the fourth year of the bull market. Because if something happens in China, Taiwan, yeah,
Yeah.
That's a big. It's always been a big risk. It's always been a big risk.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
For
the risk
sure.
there.
yeah. That's the risk right there
Yeah.
for not for tech completely, but for the semis. Yeah.
Matty says this, right? What are your thoughts on this? Trump doesn't even know what date is, let alone
Yeah,
the strategy
when we're
for
talking about the
Venezuela.
strategy, because
You know?
when I'm talking about like the AI, it's the compute strategy. It's just it's so much more further, a little bit more intricate, and it's just, am I over analyzing it? Does he even care about what's going to happen the next decade or more anyway? But then, he said he says a lot of things, but the US to be like the leaders in the digital era and AI. So
They are the leaders, and they want to keep the leading.
Yeah.
They started the whole thing, and they don't want anybody to catch up. That's what they're trying to do. But Trump is doing, like, this is America first. This is in a very selfish way. We're gonna go into a foreign country with helicopters, kidnap the president. Okay, bring him
He's
back.
not the president.
Bring him another.
He's not the president.
Yeah,
He's not
bring
the
him
president.
back
Kidnap a
to
guy.
bring him back to New
What are
York,
the politics?
right? And charge him, so we can keep control of the Western Hemisphere and the oil not to go into the wrong hands. Okay, if you put it like that, it was a ballsy move. So
Oh yeah. I
it
mean,
was,
he shows.
yeah,
I mean, whether you
Yeah.
like to or not, the fact that they executed and the fact that my dude, like, you have no idea. Like, my mom and my dad cried when they saw it.
cry of with tears of joy.
happiness.
Joy, like they were like in shock.
Yeah.
In shock. Like they were like we were watching this. My dad was like, today I'm not watching the news. Fuck that. And the moment he said that, my mom was like, did you see the news? And we stayed the whole day glued to the TV trying to figure out what was going on. So it was like my mom and my dad, like, it's like, I'm telling you, like, my dad was like well, Mimi knows a little bit of the story, but it's like we were blacklisted. Like, I'm blacklisted from Venezuela. You know what I mean? It's like, in the oil industry, and it's like, could this blacklist me from the country? Maybe, but also, who cares?
What,
It's
this
like,
conversation?
oh
Or
yeah, like anything. It's like all of a sudden, it's like I don't trust Venezuela. Like, I don't, like, it's like there is like Russian hands, there is Cuban hands, there is like intelligence in like complexes within the country trying to figure out who's talking what, when, and how, right? So yeah, like, I would love to have a conversation with my dad. My dad is like, my daddy says it, right? Like, the hate blinds him, because it's like, it's hate. It's like what we had to go through and what the country has gone through is crazy. It's next level. It's like there's anger in Venezuelans. There's like millions of Venezuelans. Like there's little Venezuelas everywhere in every other country, just because of how much brain has left the country, right? So it's an uphill battle. I mean, this is just the beginning of whatever the Venezuelans want, and we don't even know if it's whether it's good or bad. We just know it's change, and we want it change. So we got it. Okay, what do we do with it? It's an interesting. It's gonna be an interesting like next couple of days, next couple of weeks. Gonna be very interesting to see how this plays out. Now, in the grand schemes of the global economy, not worried, right? My portfolio ain't gonna suffer so crazy. Maybe this is the first domino that falls that creates the 2026 recession. Could be, right? But unlikely, right? Because Venezuela is not a big player. You know, it's like we produce less than 1% of the global supply of oil in the world. Yeah, we have the biggest reserves, but it's underground, you know. So
Yeah,
big ifs in between. Big ifs.
it's more so if other nations, you know, step in. When we say that, we mean China. You know, if things escalate somehow, you know, in that region.
But unlikely, because you saw like the response from all of the countries was subtle, right? Russia was like, "Oh, we condemn a
Only,
nation invading another nation," and it's like, "Excuse you? Yeah, excuse you." So
only,
Yeah.
only the Argentinians salute the action, but the guy is a Trump ally, right?
yeah,
Only him. The rest of the nations in Latin America and South America, I don't think they particularly liked it.
I mean, you're affecting every single sovereign nation.
Yeah,
What sovereignty within a nation if somebody can just come in and do whatever they want
yeah.
without the proper paperwork or the proper it doesn't matter whatever rights you think you have. The Venezuela the president of a country can just be taken away. It does affect the sovereignty. Like I'm conflicted on this. Like Venezuela has no extradition law. You know, but it was enforced by the Americans because they wanted to, because there's an indictment in the Venezuelan, but he's a sovereign. So what does that create? Right. And it's like, and then who rules what in Latin America? The biggest army rules the world, eh? So whoever has the biggest gun seems to be, you know. So I don't know. This kind of puts into perspective the idea that it's like, you know, it's like sometimes we have an idealized view of the world from where we're from, and that laws are real, and freedom is something that is given, but freedom is something that is taken every day. You know what I mean? And you decide whether you fight for it or you don't. So, yeah.
You look. It's been almost like an hour, and I can see you are very conflicted about this. So let me
Yeah.
ask you. So let me ask you this question: do you think, a simple question, do you think Venezuela is better today than it was yesterday? It's not. It's
Yeah.
not, it's not a simple question, but
It's not a simple question, but like if I have to throw a coin in the air and give you an answer, yeah.
what your father would say, and
Oh,
mom,
100%.
100%.
100%. 100%. But the thing is like now it's up to the Venezuelans to pick it up.
Yeah.
It's up to every single Venezuelan to figure out a way to make this stick. To look at the current like social structures and then stand up and say, hey, maybe this is not the right way. We have an opportunity to change this and take back control of what's theirs. But now we're not fighting Venezuelans. We might be fighting the Americans. Yeah, so it's like, or we might be fighting Venezuelans with American support, which is the worst case scenario. So is it better? I mean, yeah, like, right? Like one of the regime is out, which is there's thousands of missing political prisoners in Venezuela that we have no idea whether they're alive or dead. Right? Could this change? It's the start of something. There's sort of change. We just don't know. At least it's starting, you know, and then we'll have to see where it plays from here. But yeah. Right? Like if I have to tell you now, yeah, like I'm bullish on this change. You know, it's like for sure. Right? We've been asking for change for years.
Any ETF or any way we can bet on the
Stay away.
On the revival of the Venezuelan economy.
Go buy Venezuelan real estate. You can buy a house for $15,000, 5-bedroom house in the middle of like major cities. And if this gets fixed, in the 5% chance this gets fixed in the next 10 years, 20 years, you make a ton of money. If this doesn't get fixed, you lose the whole investment and you'll never be able to sell it.
House of
Venezuelan
investors.
real estate. Huh?
That's where house of investors will be.
We just start buying real estate in Venezuela.
So we just buy real estate.
We talk so much shit about it. I don't think any of us is welcome there.
The thing is, it's like that's the problem. They don't let you talk. You know, it's like even if it's like they just don't let you talk. Like if it's not their narrative, it's the wrong narrative, and it's like that's what I despise about it. It's like let people decide, right? But
look at what happened to Panama. Probably the same outcome for Venezuela.
Oh, Trump has a problem with Panama as well because of the Panama Canal. Who gave it for $1? Who was the president that gave it away for $1? He wants his money back as well for Panama, for the Panama Canal.
Because he says the Chinese, he says the Chinese.
The Chinese started buying real estate around the Panama Canal, right?
That apparently Jimmy Carter sold the Panama Canal, the Panama Canal for $1, but fact checkers and historical record confirms this is false. In 1999, handover was a diplomatic treaty based on transfer and sovereignty, not a financial sale. So,
well, now I feel like I can't even go to China. I haven't been. I've always been too afraid. Now I'm just going to be thrown into. You guys are going to call and be like, "Hey, I'm in prison. Bail me out."
It's okay. It's okay. We'll send the American choppers. Special military operation.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, yeah. It's okay. Invest in Nvidia, and then we'll have Nvidia choppers.
Yeah.
Or Walmart. It's okay. You know, in aisle 7, you can get an American passport.
Aisle 7, okay.
Yeah, aisle 7 in Walmart, you can get an American passport. It's a fact. And Costco also. I always make the joke, but it's so good. Oh man, anything else you guys want to talk about?
No, that's it. It's been an hour, guys, and 2 a.m.
Wow. Thanks so much for jumping on.
No, it's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's an important event. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But also, I just don't see it affecting global markets unless we start seeing retaliation. But we haven't seen it yet. We just haven't.
No.
Seen it, so.
I mean, it's good to talk it out. Like, even though nothing has happened so far in the markets, it's good to really talk it out with everyone and get everybody's take and everybody's views. And our views might change in 48 hours, in 24 hours, 48 hours. So let's see how Monday opens.
Exactly. Well, actually, futures open in 4 hours. So.
Okay.
No, it's good to sleep on this thing, because last night while everything was happening, it was like later. I was like tired, and then I woke up this morning. I was like, now I get it. It's the petrodollar. Why would they let anybody else, especially the Chinese, have access to this? And they're gonna start trading like in your backyard with their currency. No, they want the dollar to be the currency of choice, trading oil. So that was a major reason for this move. The drugs were just, it sounds pretty, it sounds like morally correct.
Yeah.
But it was like, in my opinion, it wasn't about drugs.
No.
It was
There is some truth, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's so much more. It's
Yeah.
so much more.
There's so many layers. So many layers. Cool.
Well, everybody, Graham, because of Japan.
Because Japan.
Everybody, Maddie, thanks so much for watching, Mr. Biff. You guys are MVPs. Thanks so much for staying with us. It's so night in a Sunday talking about Venezuelan politics and stock market dynamics.
It's like nobody. We don't have lives. Like Timothy has a life. Timothy
does.
has a life. We know he's somewhere in a bar, probably. I don't know. Actually having a
Enjoying
life.
himself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's with his family.
He's probably writing a post for tomorrow.
His
Making an
AI is
AI that
writing
will write
for
an
his AI, creating
Of
an
course.
AI.
Yeah. It's all about them AIs.
Yeah.
Thanks so
Thank
much,
you,
everybody.
Graham.
Oh man.
Everyone.
Thanks so much,
We'll
everybody,
see
for
you
watching.
guys Thursday.
Thursday, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe if you found any benefit here at all. Hopefully markets can. Man, I like the market close on Friday, but because every single stock I owned was up, so it was great. The market was up because my portfolio was up. But
Yes.
so, all right, thanks so much for watching, everybody.